Gothics, Armstrong, Upper Wolfjaw, Lower Wolfjaw, Hedgehog, and Rooster Cone. 25 miles, 17,600 feet of gain, a monster day, and they were doing it in the winter too. Amazing. Shortly after they arrived, we chatted for a little while, and then we started over to our final mountain of the day, Lower Wolfjaw, which is 1.2 miles from the summit of Upper Wolfjaw. But not before going over the giant hump in front of Upper Wolfjaw, known as Wolfjaw's Notch, which looks like a whole other mountain to climb first. Fortunately, it looks a lot more daunting from here than it actually is. This hike to the col between the two mountains drops 700 feet of elevation in half a mile, so it has some steeper moments for sure. And to add insult to injury on this hike in particular, most of the time you have Lower Wolfjaw visible, towering in front of you, standing there saying, "Yes, I am very tall. Oh yes, I am getting taller as you keep descending. Yes, you are going to have to climb up me. Yes, it does look like a lot of work. It is going to be steep." All of those things. I assume that's what the mountain would be saying if it spoke English, of course. Just made it up to the Upper Wolfjaw Notch, which is the little hump that you see in between Upper Wolfjaw and Lower Wolfjaw. Made it here super quickly, which is awesome, knowing we had to go over that. It just kind of appeared. We were here. There's a giant boulder here in the notch. Cool little area. No wind. Sun is shining now. Blue skies above us. Almost at Lower Wolfjaw, which I can see through the trees, and it looks really far away and really high, but that's where we're going. We continued down the well-broken-out sidewalk-like trail, butt sliding down steeper sections, skiing down the other sections on our snowshoes, and we came out to the Wolfjaw and Wolfjaw Notch Cutoff Trail Junction. We thought about dropping our packs here since we'll be going up and right back down, but thankfully we quickly remembered the Wedge Brook Trail is a little bit further up. So we immediately started our climb up to Lower Wolfjaw, and when we landed at the Wedge Brook Trail Junction, another 0.1 miles up, we dropped our packs in an effort to make the final summit a little bit lighter. It turned out to be a good call. The final half a mile or so to the summit is pretty steep, gaining almost 700 feet from the Wolfjaw Trail Junction col. From the Wedge Brook Junction Trail, it's about 0.3 miles or so. You'll gain 425 feet. So all in all, this hike is really there. You're going to work for it. The best part of this trail, for us, besides the fact that the sun was shining and it was glorious, is the trail was very broken out and it was quite simple to climb. The snowshoe stuck very well. With the heel lifts up, it was just like walking up stairs the whole way. Steep stairs, but stairs nonetheless. We kept climbing up the trail through all the pine trees, and then we were there. My energy was high at this point, thankfully, and the early hike leg cramps were a thing of the past. Once we finished climbing this beautifully sculpted trail with no sliding or trouble, we came out to the partially wooded summit of Lower Wolfjaw at 12:35 p.m. The final peak of the day, 6 for 6. The 30th tallest peak in the Adirondacks, standing 4,175 feet elevation. Hanging out here at the top of Lower Wolfjaw, peak number 6 of 6 on the day. Actually made it. There were times where I wasn't quite sure if my legs were going to hold up today, but I'm stoked. We're here. The sun's out. Blue sky above. Phenomenal. It's 12:34. So far, so good. Nice long hike back to St. Hubert to the parking lot, but that's all right. Going to enjoy some sunshine here on top of Lower Wolfjaw, taking some views before we head back down. The day had been accomplished as planned, and I was stoked. I've never had such a physical struggle like I did going up Pyramid particularly, but thankfully I was able to push through to the end without any real issue. It was a big day, but it certainly wasn't over yet. We still had to get back to the Wedge Brook Trail, then the 1.8 miles on the Wedge Brook Trail, followed by 2 miles on the West River Trail paralleling the lake road, and then the final half mile back to our car on the gravel. So plenty of mindless hiking still to come. However, this portion of the day, typically a boring and monotonous part of any hike, turned out to be one of the most fun parts of the day. How, you ask? 2 words. Butt sliding. Remember how I said the trail up Lower Wolfjaw is steep and broken out nicely? Well, it made for very fast and fun-filled butt sliding. So that's what we did. We slid down an enormous portion of the Lower Wolfjaw Trail in one continuous slide. down the 2-foot wide trail, around the corners, turning left, then turning right, between the trees, and even sliding straight under some blowdown across the trail like it was a giant windy water slide at an amusement park. Our faces were like little kids filled with pure joy. In all honesty, it felt like being a little kid again, having so much fun that you can't stop smiling. Especially since none of us expected to do that. We had butt slid here and there throughout the day like anybody does in the winter, but nothing to this extent. And once we got back to the Wedge Brook Trail in literally about 6 or 7 minutes, we continued the fun all the way down to the West River Trail. With butt sliding, you do have to be careful because you can literally pick up a lot of speed and things can actually go wrong. Sliding into trees, getting out of control, catching an edge and hurting an ankle or a knee, or other hikers coming up the trail. So you have to be mindful and always in control. But when the conditions are right, it is truly the time of your life. So after we made it back to the Wedge Trail, it was on. We saddled up and slid down almost the whole trail on our butts. This point was perfect butt sliding conditions because the trail swerved all through an open hardwood forest, so it was easy to see what was up ahead on the trail since the trees obviously don't have any leaves on them this time of year. It was very open and we could see what was in front of us and if people were coming up the trail. However, we didn't pass any more hikers for the rest of the day at this point and we just slid down the entire trail. Sometimes for a good minute without stopping. It was true childlike joy in its purest form. Once we got back down to level ground, we must have saved at least 20 minutes of hiking due to the sliding. And now it was just the long walk back to the car along the West River Trail. This trail walks parallel with the Ausable River down in the valley below and slowly drops elevation towards it. And I mean slowly. And eventually you'll come down to the river. We did, however, opt to cross the river once we got down to it and go out to the lake road for the final mile of the hike. No snowshoes, some mindless walking, a change of pace. So we did. Then we saw the big wooden gate at the trailhead and we signed out. Now just a half a mile walk on the road back to the car, where I told the three of them, hey, milkshakes at Stewart's and Keene on me. God, I needed a Stewart's milkshake. Chocolate peanut butter cup, of course. Only the best. We sped down the road and made it back to our cars at 3:20 p.m., ending our day at 13 hours and 5 minutes car to car. What a doozy. It seemed like 2 a.m. was a lifetime ago, but like I always say, miles in the dark don't count, and I personally enjoy starting as early as possible, and today, that's exactly what we did. Another successful winter day in the woods on the lower Great Range. Sawteeth, Pyramid, Gothics, Armstrong, Upper Wolfjaw, Lower Wolfjaw. It had its ups and downs, both literally and figuratively, but ultimately was a huge success. Almost 17 miles and 5,500 feet of gain on this 6-peak day. Big thanks to Kira, John, and Brian for hiking with me and having some fun today. Sliding down Lower Wolfjaw with you all will be a memory I have for a lifetime. Thanks for listening, and if you have a minute to give the show a follow on Instagram and Facebook, at 46 of 46 Podcast, I'd really appreciate it. If you ever have hiking questions or comments, Adirondack questions, or just want to talk shop, shoot me an email at 46of46podcast@gmail.com. And if you're new to hiking in the Adirondacks or hiking in general, I highly recommend checking out LakePlacidNiner.com. It's an Adirondacks hiking challenge designed to help new hikers get familiar with the trails on smaller peaks, where each mountain gets bigger and bigger, and by the end, you'll confidently be ready to tackle the high peaks. The hike preparation page should give you plenty of information to get you started. New mountains, new stories, and new episodes coming soon. Remember to always leave no trace, do the rock walk, and if you carry it in, carry it out. Everything, every time, banana peels and all. See you on the trails. Pure ADK is an online community and lifestyle brand that creates Adirondack-inspired apparel and goods. They're all about sharing their adventures and creating quality products that are a reflection of the outdoor lifestyle and activities we love in the Adirondack Mountains. Whether born and raised an Adirondack native or a frequent vacationer, we all have a common bond. Those feelings and memories that the Adirondacks evoke in us. As a bonus for listeners of the podcast, they're providing a 15% off discount. When shopping in their online store, use the promo code 46podcast to redeem the offer. PureAdirondacks.com. Check it out. 46podcast. Pure ADK. Exploration unbound.